Oh my, that went fast. If we'd all stand, we will do our Pledge of Allegiance. And Jennifer, if you would start for us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Basically say that. We're applauding the Pledge of Allegiance. That's great. I'm going to start off with talking about our February 12th community meeting. And on February 12th, we're having dog talk. Yes. We are going to be having a veterinarian, I think the name of the company was Dog or Pet Diagnosis. Prognosis. Now the dog doesn't talk, but you can come here, not with your dog, but have any questions, and she's going to talk about where veterinary services are at and updates on, just health and care and that sort of thing. And seeing as how, the way I see it, seems to me everybody in Palm Beach Shores has 2 dogs. So we might have to get a few more chairs, Alan, to fill the crowd on February the 12th. So definitely, the POA is definitely looking forward to that. Now I would like to introduce our new slate of POA officers. If they'd all come forward, our POA board. I was talking to the mayor some time ago, and I said, we need 2 new board members. And I've been talking to different people, and I could not find anybody that was interested. And the mayor said to me, when it gets down to the crunch, there is always people that will step up in Palm Beach Shores. And she's absolutely right. And that's what we got here. Where's Maura? She's not. Oh, I thought she was doing better. Maura Durrell is still down with the flu. She's our secretary. Now, here's the lineup right here. Here's our directors, Mary Stanton, Grace Barrett, Minister of Environment. You've always known Grace. I'm sure you've all seen her on the, she does a fantastic job on the environmental. You all agree with that? Rose, who looks after everything. Nina, she looks after Nina. The only person that can control Nina is Rose. Janet's our treasurer. Oh, here's Nina. Another applause for Nina, our social director. If it wasn't for her, we don't get fed. Like, she handles all that. Excellent job. Janet, our treasurer. I know. Elizabeth, and Elizabeth and Frank are our 2 newest board members. And my term was up at the end of the year, but now I'm still here, and the board has asked me to stay on until April, and then come October, when we all come back, there will be a new president, because my term is done. Thanks, guys. Big crowd, Myra. You got to be somewhat concerned.
No pressure.
Are they all here to say, hey Myra, what a great job you're doing. We really think you're great. Oh, yeah, exactly. So, without any further ado, or taking up any more of Myra's time, let's welcome our mayor.
Thank you, everyone. This is great. Thank you so much for all being here tonight. Welcome to the first POA community meeting of the year. As I said, I am Myra Coots, and I'm so happy to see everyone here tonight. I'm going to review some of the things that we accomplished in 2017. I'm going to talk to you about what we're looking forward to in 2018, and then there's some ongoing issues that we're working on that I think you all should know about. So keep track of your questions. I'll get them to the end. But before I start, I'd like to say thank you to those of you who did not run against me this year. I'm looking forward to another 2 years, and I appreciate your support. I really want to look forward to completing the big projects that we have already started. So. I know many of you think that I'm crazy to be handling the town's responsibilities without a town manager, and there are days that I agree with you. But I'm really blessed to have a terrific team who are dedicated to your service and to improving the quality of life in our town. And they make every day doable, they make my job wonderful, and they make it a pleasure to go to work. And I love working with all of them. So tonight I'm going to take you through each one of the departments and sort of tell you a little bit about what they're up to. And also, I have a huge thank you to all the residents who volunteer their time to make the town such a special place. The commission, the planning and zoning people, the POA, the Seasiders, the volunteer fire department, the ladies auxiliary, and folks just volunteer in so many different ways. So tonight, I'm going to be the one who's going to be talking to you tonight, but always remember that it's all about teamwork, that we're all in this together, and we all have to work together in order to make the place great. So. Here we go. So first there's the town commission, the vice mayor Roby Durrell, and our commissioners Lisa Tropepi, Bob Stanton, and Gil Gilgallen. Gil's also running unopposed, so he's elected, and I think you might also know that Lisa Tropepi has decided after 15 or 16 years that she's not going to run again. Her daughter is becoming a teenager, and between that and her business, I think she's decided that it's time for her to step down. You know, Lisa's the kind of person, like so many of us, who doesn't want to do a job halfway. She either gives herself entirely to it or not at all. So I think she's decided that it's time for her to spend a lot more of her time with Gina, and I think we can all appreciate that and support it. So thank you to Lisa so much for all of the years. And the qualifying for the other seat ends tomorrow at noon, and we do have a candidate. Brian Tyler? Brian Tyler is going to be our next commissioner. Thank you. Planning and Zoning Board, we have Chair Janet Kortenhouse, Nina, Mary, Grace, who you met earlier at the on the POA board. Rick Ziegler has come back again, and Joan Bancroft-Brody is our alternate. And my town senior staff, of course, Police Chief Steve Langevin, who started in the middle of the year, and he's doing a terrific job. Fire Chief Trevor Steedman. Trevor's over there by the wall. Public Works Director Alan Welch. Alan's here as well tonight. Town Clerk Yvonne Browning, Yvonne had the day off, and Town Treasurer Wendy Wells, she's also here. So let's start with the police, Chief Steve, and rather than make a lieutenant, he's got 2 sergeants, Mike Simmons and Blaze Peppercorn. And we've also made Daryl Russian, who lives here in town, he's going to be our investigator. He's already been investigating the burglaries, but we're sending him to school with the sheriff's office in order to get the training that he needs to really do the job well. So he'll still be doing road patrol, but whenever something comes up, he'll be our investigator. And then Tony Sanchez is our background investigator, so when we do new hires and that sort of thing, he's the one who does the deep dive into making sure that these are people who we want to have working for us in town. Some of the accomplishments for the police this past year, we increased road patrol. And we've got the black and white cars back, and that is all for visibility, because we know that it's not just that you are safe, but that you feel safe. And so seeing the cars going up and down the road as much as possible is one of those things that really helps both you know that we're out there, but also that the bad guys know that we're out there. And hopefully that makes them stay on the other side of the border. We've improved the hiring process so that we don't run into the problems that we all know that we've had in the past. Chief Young started this while he was the chief, and Steve has improved on it. We have, as I said, deeper background checks. We have also put together a panel of people, which includes some members of the police department, our HR director, Yvonne Browning. We've added our town resident, Elizabeth Kiekenmeister, to this. So they meet with the prospective officers and make sure that they understand the ethos of the town, that they're the right kind of person for this town, and that they understand that it's just as important to waive everybody as it is to make sure that we're safe. So that's really worked out very well. So we have a new 3-year contract with the police, and we did solve the burglaries. A number of the guys are now in jail, and the other ones, we have warrants out for them. We also were able to recover some of the stolen items, though not enough. We were disappointed that the burglaries happened in the first place, but we've put new procedures and actions in place to try and head them off and to solve the ones that did happen. And I just want to remind you all, if you see something, say something when you see it. Don't wait until the next day and say, oh, by the way. It happened the other day on Bamboo. Somebody saw a guy look suspicious on Bamboo, and we went and we got him, and it turns out he had a felony record, and they had been looking for him in other places, and he's now in jail because somebody called right at that moment. So let me just remind you, if you see something, say something. Fire department staffing, Chief Trevor. We've hired 2 of our full-time firefighter, Dimitri, who I think I saw. Here's Dimitri. And Nick Kavich, who was our Santa this year. I hope I didn't break anybody's bubble with that one. Nick was our Santa this year. We've got 2 more open positions, and they're budgeted, and we have offers out to 2 people. I'm going to be talking to them on Wednesday, and hopefully they'll be joining us. We also have about 20-ish volunteers, both in-district and out-of-district volunteers, and that's a much lower number than we did a couple years ago when we had between 30 and 40. And the reason that this has happened, and the reason that we felt that we had to go to hiring full-time firefighter paramedics on staff, is because back during the financial crisis, nobody else was hiring, and all these young people were coming out of fire school, and they were very happy to come and donate time to us and spend a year, 2 years, 3 years with us. So they really got to know the equipment, they really got to know the town. But that's not happening now. We're still getting these people coming in, but they're staying 6 months. So the turnover is a lot faster. There's a chance that if we didn't have our on-staff firefighters here, that we might have a staff here who don't know where Sandal Lane is, who don't know, had no experience driving the truck. So we have to make sure that we have good people here. So that's why we went the way we did. And we still have volunteer opportunities with the fire department if you are interested. And it doesn't have to be fighting fires. It can be all different kinds of things. As I said, their accomplishments, they hired the full-time staff. Together with Public Works, we renovated the firehouse and the fire station. They both are much better than they were before. And we're now the official backup for the Riviera Beach Singer Island fire station up the way. This may not be a lot to you, but I have to tell you, a couple of years ago, there was a major fire at the not the Tierra, but the Phoenix Towers right next door. It was a huge electrical fire. And every single fire company in northern Palm Beach County was called to that fire except Palm Beach Shores. They wouldn't even call us to direct traffic. That's what they thought of us. And now, in 2 years, we've been working really hard. We've upgraded our equipment, we've upgraded our staffing, we've upgraded just even the relationship that we have with the fire department over at Riviera Beach. And now, when they have to go off the island, which they do on a regular basis, they call us and say, if there's a call, will you take it for us? And I have to tell you, that does my heart good. It really tells you that we've done a lot of work to make it better. The other things we've we've done, we're doing a lot more community outreach. We had a really fun session where you got to come and try fire extinguishers. We're going to do that again in a month or so. That was great, I recommend it. And we've instituted home safety surveys where we can come and take a look at your place and give you recommendations on how to make your home more safe. Public works staffing, we have Director Allen, and we have 2 full-time technicians, Frank and Andrew now. Andrew joined us from the Marriott, where he was for about 6 years, and he's got a tremendous broad range of knowledge. This allows them to do a lot more projects in-house rather than having Brian, who's essentially just a cleaner. Now we have 2 full-time guys. Yay! So that saves us money, and not only does it save us money, but the projects get done the way we want them to get done. We know that they're done right. There's also volunteer opportunities in public works. I was just talking to Elaine Sylvester about walking up and down the parkway, picking up the cigarette butts out of the ashtrays there. So they're really glamorous jobs. If you want them, talk to Alan. There's things that you can do to help us, and we would really appreciate it. Some of the accomplishments from Public Works, obviously the new carpets were done in here. In the parkway, the new sidewalks were put in. We've been working on the fountain, and we're going to do some more there. The whole parkway irrigation system was updated so that hopefully we won't have as many weeds and dead spots. The inlet water fountain was replaced. Together with the environmental committee, thank you, Grace, there have been new plantings all up and down the parkway, and I think those of you who walk there may have noticed that there are a lot more butterflies on the parkway, and that's as a result of getting rid of the butterfly garden where everything was in one place and spreading them out all up and down the parkway. And it has 2 different benefits. We get more butterflies, but they hide the irrigation equipment, so it just makes the parkway look more beautiful. So it was really a great plan, so thank you very much for that. The lift stations, we renovated them and we updated the service, and we're still in we did some hurricane damage restoration, like this room and this building got pretty severely damaged, but that's been put back together, but there's more to do there. Town hall staff. Our town clerk is Yvonne Browning, and she runs the town hall. She's also my chief of staff and helps me with everything. She does all of the agendas and all of the public records requests and the business tax receipts and everything, but also we have Wendy Wells, the treasurer. Gowdy is here tonight, who is our office manager. And Gowdy also does all of the building permits and works with the building department to make sure that your building processes go as smoothly as possible. Jennifer Rivera is here. She does the community center for us. Jennifer does the front desk, and she also does accounts payable for us, which is a big job, a lot of detail there, and Jennifer does that, so good job. And then our 2 safe bill people, our new building official, Jim Parker, and our code enforcement officer, Orlando Rodriguez, that I think probably more of you have got to meet than probably would like to meet him. But he's out there every day driving up and down the streets, and I think we can all say that the town is looking a lot better because Orlando is really paying attention to the details. So their accomplishments. We now accept credit cards at town hall, so you can pay your sewer fees, permit fees, probably your $10 parking fee if you'd like to. There's a small 2.5% charge on top of it, so it's all revenue neutral, but we are accepting credit cards, so that gives you that privilege. We automated the payroll system. You can't believe the antiquated paper payroll system we used to have, but it's now all automated. We put the new civil service board in place, which is an alternate way of dealing with employee infractions, which should keep us out of arbitration and hopefully out of lawsuits and out of court. So I think it'll be a better process both for the employees and for the town, so we're looking forward. Well, we hope we never have to use it, but if we do, we think that's a much better process than what we had before. We instituted the PACE Home Improvement Program, which is an alternate way for you to fund environmental improvements to your home. So if you're putting in new air conditioners, if you're putting in solar panels, that sort of thing, PACE is a way that you can fund that, and the loan goes with the house, not with you. So if you sold the house, the next owner would take over the payments on it. So it's an interesting program. If you want more information, we can tell you about it. We process an unprecedented volume of building permits. As you can see, we've got a lot of new houses going up. Along the inlet, there's a lot of building. We successfully prosecuted some vacation rentals, the big one on Blossom. I think the fines were up close to $100,000 before they finally figured out that we were serious, that he needed to be quiet and stop renting it on a regular basis. There's a couple more down on, one on Inlet Way and one on Bravado that we're working on right now. We did staff-wide sexual harassment training, and we had another clean financial audit, so it's a good thing. And then just to remind you all that we have to do everything that the big cities do. We have to do everything that Miami does and that West Palm Beach does and Tampa does. So, you know, that's why the folks in Town Hall and the police chief and the fire, everybody wears multiple hats here. But we're also supported by wonderful consultant partners, our attorneys, our engineers, our town planners. Tim Glass, who lives here in town, is our IT guy. And we have an excellent relationship with the Riviera Beach Utility District, who does our waters and sanitary sewer and fire rescue. And Bass is now doing our landscaping projects up and down the parkway. And as I said before, Safe Build does our building and code enforcement. So it's, once again, it's all teamwork. It's you, the residents, the commission, the planning and zoning, the staff, our consultant partners. We all work together to get all of those things done. I thought I'd tell you just a little bit about what happened with Irma. I don't know if you got a chance to see, there were some photographs up there. I'll put them up again afterwards. You can see some of the pictures from the hurricane if you weren't here to see it yourself. But it really was the best example of our staff teamwork. Everybody worked really well together. We took care of the residents and we took care of each other to make sure that the staff were well taken care of. We did a dry run with the County Emergency Center in the spring, so we knew exactly what we had to do. We had our full town plan, which was updated and which we actually executed against, and we have made some notes about what we could do better, so we'll update that again. As I said, we took good care of the residents and the on-site staff. The cleanup and debris removal happened very quickly. I think done within about 3 weeks. And we're going to get reimbursed by FEMA for about 9% of the cost of that debris removal. So that was very good. As I said, we had these, thank goodness this was a mix, because we had significant damage to the community center, to the beach bathroom, still needs to be repaired. The inlet seawall, which you can see if you're down there. The storm drains and the sanitary sewer lines are under the ground. The waves were pounding so hard on the inlet walkway that the ground shifted, and that broke the pipes underneath the ground. The waves were hitting the second floor of the new 106 inlet building over there. Like I said, thank goodness that was a mix, because you see the boulders that got thrown over the seawall, they're supposed to be on the other side, and we're still trying to figure out how to get them back over there. So this was a major project, and we're still working to get them fixed. And then we're working with FEMA for reimbursements. These were my 6 campaign priorities, and I look at them at least once a week, every week, to make sure that I'm doing something against each one of them every week, to make sure that all of these things keep moving forward. Now 2018 projects, these are the main ones that we're going to be working on. The St. Patrick's Day Parade, it's coming back. First of all, we have to thank the committee that worked on it for so long. I mean, they did it for so many years. They did a great job, and they just got tired. And I can understand that. We all can understand that. So we didn't have it last year, but now we've made it an official town event. So it's coming under the banner of the Mayor's Youth Council. So it will be on Saturday, March 17th. We're going to follow the same route. The party will be here afterwards, and we put together a wonderful planning committee of town staff, residents, and local businesses, like JP from the Marriott, who's in the back there, doing some wonderful work. And in order to raise money to fund the parade, they've given us a grand prize of 1 week out of Marriott anywhere in the world for free. So we're wrapping that off. Thank you to the Marriott. but other businesses in town have been contributing food and money and other things as well. So it's really going to, I think, be a wonderful event. The waste management, we have a new contract with them, and we're going to be getting standard bins. You get a chance, they're up against the wall at the back. There's a papa bin, a mama bin, and a baby bin. But everybody's going to get the mama bin to start with, because we think that's about the right size for you. But after you've lived with it for a month or so, and you find that you want to change one way or the other, let us know and we'll swap it out for you. The reason is that this allows waste management to only have one person on the truck, saves us money. So that saves you money because it comes out of our taxes. So that's why we're doing it this way. I also think the town will look better if all the bins along the road are all the same color. They're going to have our town logo on the side, so I think they're going to look really nice. And if you want waste management to take away your old bin, they will do that. Undergrounding, my biggest frustration. Hurricane Irma added months to the planning. Obviously, FPL went on complete alert. Everybody got taken off with whatever they were working on and had to work on the hurricane. So they're back on it, but now there's the frost and everything up north, so they're telling me that they're not working on it again. But anyway, so I call them, every other day and go, today, I get my plans? And they just want to get rid of me, so I think we will finally do it soon. They say they're 80% approved, and Danny, Brandon, and I are starting the easement process, particularly along Beach Road over there, where we have to get specific easements in order to get those final power lines down because of our crazy town line with Riviera Beach. So we're working on that. But once we get the final plans from FP&L, then we will have a town-wide meeting, and I'll come in here to the community center, we'll lay the wall out for you, and you'll get to look at your street and see where the transformers are going to be on your street. And then we will we'll do the construction bidding, and then the financing, and then we'll finally be able to get shovels on the ground after that. So it's going to be months, a few more months, but being a village. The water mains. Riviera Beach a few years ago put $1 million in their budget for this year in order to replace the main water mains around the ring road along Inland Lake and Ocean. And they're going to do it. It took a little bit of arm twisting on our part. They're actually going to do it. The planning was done last year, and I went to the board meeting, and they approved the project funding. So the next step is their new utility director is going to come over here at some point, and we're going to have a meeting with us, commission, with our engineers, with their engineers. We will make it, we'll post it, we'll make it an open meeting. All of you can come and listen, and we're going to talk through the project and figure out how it's going to work in conjunction with our undergrounding and with everything else that we've got going. So we can try and minimize the disruption to you all. But the water mains need to be replaced, and I think this is a wonderful thing that it's actually going to happen. Our major projects have to complete the urban restoration. We've got two new police cars coming. They're going to be the same Ford interrupters that we already have now. The new playground equipment is coming, and every other public space in town has been renovated with the exception of the police department. So we're going to go in there and sort of reconfigure and renovate the police department. Make a new entrance so that there's actually a better place for you to come into. If you have business in there, we'll still keep the dog biscuits and everything, that will still be there. We'll also make the workflow better for the officers who are there. We're going to paint it, so if you've ever looked in there, it's terrible. So we're going to try and make it a more pleasant place for them to work and a more efficient place for them to work. And then we're going to do some small things with the commission chambers in order to bring that up to date a little bit as well. And the other thing I thought we would would do is have a citizen roundtable, perhaps in March. As you know, we do all of our budget planning during the summer when a lot of you are gone. So I thought that we would have a citizen roundtable specifically talk about capital projects or anything else that you want to talk to about the budget in March. So that if you have ideas of something that you want us to see, that you want us to build, something that you think is getting out of date, that you want us to renovate or to replace, any ideas that you have, we're going to have a for you to be able to come and do that. And then the last thing is the state finances are very strong. We're really in good shape. Our property values increased 4.4% this past year, which allowed us to keep our millage rate steady at 6.35. Our taxes probably still went up because your property value went up, even though our millage rate was staying the same. The diversity of residence types has changed a little bit. Timeshares are now down to 42% of our revenues, and that's mainly because the value of the timeshares is not coming up in the same way that the houses and the condominiums are. So they're sort of falling behind as far as contributions to the revenue source, but they're still a major revenue source for the town. The single-family homes and the condominiums each represent about 20% of the revenues here in town. We've had this new utility consumption tax, which has diversified our revenue stream, which is one of the benefits, one of the things that we were hoping to do with that, and we're going to be using those revenues in order to pay for the undergrounding. And then we also lowered our administration and our capital projects expenditures this past year. Public safety remains job one. It's 62% of the money that we spend, and that's the police and the fire department. And that's up a little bit because we did add the 4 firefighters into the fire department. And our fund balance still exceeds our state requirements. Our fund balance is our savings account. That's the money that we put away for a rainy day, like a hurricane. Right now we're at 34% of our budget. The state requires that we be at 25%, so it's very healthy. We're going to be using some of that money to do some of those last Irma restorations, but we will be getting reimbursed by FEMA at some point in the future for those expenditures. A couple of other things for you to know about the budget. We do have a balanced budget. We make sure every year that we don't plan to spend any more than we have coming in. This year we're taking about $146,000 out of the fund balance, but as I said, we have $2.2 million in there, so that little bit was enough just to help us fund the firefighters and keep a balanced budget. We have two new revenue sources this year. One is the new county sales tax that you're all paying, and the other was we got a lovely bequest from the Fannings, who lived in the atrium, and when they passed away, they left us about $280,000 in their will. So I would like to recommend to all of you that when you do your planning, your estate planning, don't forget Palm Beach Shores. We will make sure you get mentioned here at a meeting and recognized for your generosity. Anyway, those funds are being put away. We're not using them. They're in the bank, and they will be used for repaving the roads after we finish with the water mains and with the undergrounding. We're going to need to go through and repave the roads, so we're putting the sales tax money aside for that, and the Fanning money is getting put aside for a fire truck, which we expect we'll need in 2020. And as I said, we added the 4 fire staff, but we reduced administration, police, streets, and capital projects in order to offset that money. Some of the things that we're still worrying about, as I said, we're still working on vacation rentals and noise. This is an ongoing problem, and if you live next to one of these places, you know that it can be really disturbing. So this is another time where if you want us to do something about it, you have to call us while it's going on so we can get a police report. If we have enough police reports, then we can take them to the magistrate and we can start taking action against them to force them to abide by our noise ordinances and to make sure that our quiet neighborhoods stay that way. But it's a team effort. You have to help us doing that. We're having a lot of police and fire department staffing turnover, and because of our for a variety of reasons. Everybody's hiring. Riviera Beach is hiring. The sheriff is hiring. West Palm Beach is hiring. So we're, given our salary ranges and that sort of thing, we're having a little bit of difficulty filling some of our positions, so we're having to use a lot of overtime, but we're making sure that we get all of our shifts covered. Obviously, we want to make sure we do the undergrounding project this year, and I've asked you all to make sure you don't put your yard waste on the parkway. Keep it on your own property, please. The parkway needs to be beautiful, and we're going to be going through and replacing the sod that's been damaged over the years, but we need you to tell your landscapers, if they're the ones who are doing it, or yourself, please don't pile things on the parkway. I talked a little bit about resident volunteers opportunity, and the last thing I want to tell you about is we're fighting Tallahassee attacks on home rule, and you may wonder what that means. That means that they are making laws in Florida and in Tallahassee in the legislature that they want to apply equally to all municipalities in Florida, and they take away our right to make our own laws. So, you know, there's a couple of examples. For instance, they've made a law that I can't make a rule, or we can't make a law here in Palm Beach Shores about carrying a gun into the commission chambers. They've told us that we can't do that, so anybody can take a gun anywhere here in Palm Beach Shores, and we're not allowed to make a rule against it. That's an example of them attacking home rule and doing one law for everybody. That might not be something that we want to do, but the one that affects us is vacation rentals. There's a prospective law up there right now which would take our ability to manage these vacation rentals out of our hands. They consider it property rights, the property rights of the person who owns the home, that they can use that home any way that they want, even if it disturbs the neighbors. So they want to take away our ability to help you manage the noise and the turnover of, you know, Airbnb rentals right next door to you. That's the kind of thing in home rule that we've been fighting against, and I can go on. The list is really, it's amazing. It's not just happening here in Florida, it's happening all across the country. So we spend a lot of time talking to our legislatures, and there might be some opportunities when I send you out an email and ask you to make some phone calls to help on some of these things, because some of them are really important. Luckily, the legislators that we have here in Palm Beach County are all very supportive of our efforts. So it's not really our guys who are the problem, but it would help for us to support them. So that's my report. Does anyone have any questions?
Before we get to the question, let's have a hand for our mayor. Fantastic job this year. I'd also like to comment that if you do have a question, please go up. Pretty well eat the mic so everybody can hear the question, because it's very annoying when people ask a question while they're sitting in the audience. And also, I'd like to point out, when Meyer was talking about the plantings along the pathway, your $20 to be members of the POA and our environmental, Grace, where are you? There she is. That contributed greatly to the plantings that we totally, every year, the POA contributes to that, and it's your membership that does that. Any questions? Any questions? Yes?
I have a very big
that's good.
concern. I live at the Inlet Beach Club, and we are surrounded with sober homes. And I know that this is a state regulation type thing, but the town needs to take care of that.
So the one to the west of you has closed down, so they've told me.
Hallelujah!
Yeah, Mr. Deutschman, he says he didn't know that that's what they were doing. So he says they're gone. Now across the street from you are not really sober homes, they're just apartments, but they are more problem to us than the sober homes are.
Well, that's Channel House. That's a motel.
Right.
But across from us is Tahiti.
Yes.
And Tahiti, I haven't seen anything over at Tahiti, but it is a sober home. And then we have the Doral. What's going on with Doral?
Right. I haven't heard anything from them at the moment.
Okay, then to the left of us is the south wind.
Right. And that's what I'm saying, Mr. Deutschman says they're gone, but they've closed it down.
However, he has purchased Southwind.
5 properties.
5 properties. Did he close them all down?
The 2 houses across the street, one of which is one of these vacation rentals that I'm working on, and the other problem, but it's the 3 motels that were being used as
Right.
rehab, whatever. So, and that's what he says, he's kicked them out, and he's planning to come back to us with plans for doing something different with that property. So we're looking forward to that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And Georgia, as always, I wish I had a better answer for you on the sober homes, but this is one of those home rule things. Only this comes from the feds to the state, through the county to us, so it's ongoing.
Well, one last comment
Yes.
is that the state was supposed to regulate it eventually. I mean, rehab facilities are regulated, but sober home facilities are regulated, but sober homes are not. And so anybody, I could go buy anything here in the town. I could buy 10 properties and turn them into sober homes.
State Attorney Dave Ehrenberg has been arresting people left and right, and so that's driven, like Delray has their sober homes are closing. The 2 that I know we had in town, they closed and left shop because they're afraid of, if they're bad operators, they're leaving the area. So, and the folks who are okay, who take good care of their people, that's okay. I mean, I support somebody getting off of drugs and if they have to do it somewhere. So as long as they're not causing a problem, they're not dangerous to us, they're not dangerous to themselves, then, we should support them being in town. But they have to live up to the way we are here in town.
I agree.
The way we are here in town.
I agree, but they should be rehab facilities, not sober homes.
Yeah. Thank you, Georgia. Hi, Barbara.
Hello, welcome back everybody. And it looks like Irma really did a number on the benches that we had along the walkway. And since I had one there, I wondered what the town is planning to do with that.
Yeah. You want to talk about
Yes, we're very pleased to announce that we have the funds and everything. I'm already checking into the benches to replace along the inlet, as well as a couple that were along the beach side. I'm also going to get with the Marriott, because we used to have 2 benches in front of their property as well. So we've got a total of about 6 benches that we're going to be replacing, and we're just now looking at different materials instead of the wood material with the concrete legs. Now we're going with a full heavy composite material. So that way there, if it does get crashed with sand or waves, it'll hold up to that type of environment. So we're very pleased to do that. The mayor and I were actually been checking on different styles. Kathleen has been helping as well. There again, if you folks have any ideas or any suggestions on that, please call us up. We are working on these issues, and we're excited to get new benches and hopefully so that they last longer and easier to maintain.
Yeah, I didn't think the concrete was very comfortable, so we're going for something else. Yeah, good. Anything else? Hi, Tara. Tara's our communications person. She's helping us do our website, which I forgot to mention. And we're in the final stages, another 2 months, something like that. Yeah, thank you. I should have had her on our list of
Any other
consultants.
questions?
Anything else?
Questions?
Anything else?
Yeah.
The Army Corps of Engineers coming, are they going to work on the walkway?
The county is going to help us because the Army Corps is, we're too small. They're not interested in helping us.
Yes, that was really one of my questions between the Ocean Drive and the pump house. It's quite a mess there, if there was anything going to be done with that.
Yeah, the county's actually coming tomorrow
Okay.
to try and move some of those boulders back over the side. And then that huge pile of sand that's just to the west of the helicopter pad is going to be moved back over so it all gets smoothed out so it'll look much better. And then there's still a little bit of concrete restoration that has to happen there.
Yes, but between the Ocean Drive and the pump house, like going towards the pump house,
Right.
there's quite a bit of seaweed that's washed up. You know, there used to be sand there. On windy days, people would sit there when there was too much wind on the beach. And it's all seaweed there now. Would that be removed?
Yeah, we can take a look at that.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at that.
Because
Yeah, thank you.
If you weren't able to do it, I could help with that.
Oh, excellent.
And the other question I have is wheelchair accessibility. I don't need it for myself, but there are some people that like to go down to the beach, and that's, I always call it between the Pink Building and the Marriott. And there's no place, if they're on an electric wheelchair, to sit except in the walkway. People are coming down with, you know, with all kinds of furniture for the beach, and it's, you know, they're,
Right.
what I was wondering if we could have a sort of an area on the side where they could go out with their electric wheelchairs
Right.
and just to sit there.
Yeah, thank you. We're actually working on that. First, we were looking at having a wheelchair especially designed for being on the beach, but that was sort of limiting. But Kathleen actually has found this material that can roll out and it'll go all the way down to the beach, and it'll make it easier for people to walk on. So it won't be necessary just for wheelchairs, but anybody can use it. And I don't know if you're here during the summer, but the beach gets unbearably hot during the summer, and this will actually make it easier for folks to get all the way out of that marina fee. So we're investigating it, we're talking to Alan, we've got to find the money, but we have every plan to do that. So we'll do it first out here by the tiki hut, and if it works, maybe we'll put another one down at the other entrance.
Used it on the western side of Florida at a few places.
Yes.
That seemed material for
Yeah.
wheelchair.
Yeah, the atrium did a very fancy one that goes up over the dunes, that's sort of with boards and everything, but we want to do something that's more flexible that we can remove for hurricanes and that sort of thing, but it should work out very well. Good idea, thank you. Anything else? No hard ones?
Wow.
Okay, well, I'm getting out of here then. Thank you all very much. Thank you all very much.
We have a few more items here. We have your attention. This Saturday, we have the Rotary Pancake Breakfast here.
It's a big deal,
And it's a big deal, as you all know, the tickets have been going really fast. And we hope to see you all here on Saturday for that. And then on January 27th, we have the POA Chowder Fest.
Is a big
Which
deal.
equally is a big deal, and it's our main fundraiser, so please come out and support that. As Myra mentioned, this is the round table, that might fit in well with, last year we started the Citizens Forum in March, where our members come together, and it's a citizens forum where you can bring up questions or bring us attention to certain things that is of concern to yourself. And Janet is going to come up here in a minute and talk about an update on the directory. And also, tonight we have Romano Pizza. It's going to be set up there by Nina. Some treats, and we have the 3-wine draw there. It's a basket with 3 wines, $2 for 1 ticket, $5 for 3. Janet, you want to come up and bring us up to date on the directory?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Good evening,
There
everyone.
you
Just to keep you updated, just to keep you updated, the 2018 POA directory will be ready for our February community meeting.
January meeting.
Traditionally, it's been ready for the January meeting, but this year we have approximately 50 applicants. town or someone that's lived here for a while and just never chose to join. So either way, that's a great addition to the POA. And it's a great addition to know that your neighbors are now getting involved. So because of that, it was a little more work than normal. And it will be available in February. We also had a 15% increase in the number of corporate donations that we have for the directory in the back where we have the businesses that like to advertise. We have to thank Field for Gary for that. You have one last opportunity. If you have your money paid us, that's it. We can take your money tonight, but that's it because then the printing has been done. It's getting printed, and after tomorrow, we won't be able to get any names. You can join anytime you want, but we can give you a directory, but you won't be able to appear until next year. So thank you everyone for your interest, and this money goes a long way, like I said, to helping unify the town and put together programs that you all.
Thank you, Janet.
So thank you.
Thank you, Janet. For all for that line. For all for that line. Okay. Go ahead, so. Okay. Go ahead, so. Any questions? Thank you, Janet. Any questions more for the good of the POA? If there's nothing more for the good of the POA, we are adjourned. Please take time to enjoy the snacks from Romano's and have some fellowship. Thank you very much for attending.